Now the gentlelady from Florida, Mrs. Cammack, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And as the millennial in the room, well, I guess now there's 2 of us in the room, I want to open up with saying, as a disruptor, I like disruptors. And I think it is very clear, given the amount of comments and feedback that we have received and the CFTC has received on this very rulemaking process, that there's a lot of interest and a lot of concern and vested interest in this process. So looking at how 95% of crypto derivatives and the trading volume occurs outside of the United States, I'd say that this is an opportunity. And I like opportunities. I believe America is based on equal opportunity, not equal outcome. So there are some issues that we need to overcome, and I think we can. And I believe that innovation is going to be absolutely critical as we move forward. So I'm going to dive right into it. We don't need to separate y'all, do we? All right. Well, it's been a very colorful hearing thus far. So we're looking forward to all of the feedback from you all. Mr. Bankman-Fried, how are investors impacted by the current system in which derivative marketplaces demand users to pay for market data, order books, and market access?
Yeah, I think that it makes it very hard to have the same level of access as a smaller user as the largest trading firms have. It means that you don't get to see what's happening in the markets you're sending orders to. It means you don't have the same transparency about what orders are in the book, about depth. You don't have this, and that's all relevant trading information, which is gated on the amount that you're willing to pay for it. It also means that price discovery is not made fully public, and that is one of the core goals of marketplaces in addition to hedging. And so I think that, those are all reasons that and I'll add one more as well, which is I think, frankly, it increases operational costs to have gated market data. It's not always well defined exactly what it means to use market data, exactly what it means to consume it. I know firms that spend large fractions of their time arguing with other platforms over exactly what market data is required, exactly where, and licenses is required for that. And I think it's also just cleaner and lets people innovate on our data if they want to make it open.
Well, and you answered 2 of my follow-ups, so thanks for that. Would the FTX, or I guess how would the FTX real-time risk management of margin products affect market risk and asset volatility, especially during times of market uncertainty, like we've seen with the war in Ukraine, for example?
Yeah.
And I'll throw another one at you. So would it have prevented your system, would it have prevented the what we saw with the nickel futures and that market meltdown with the London metals exchanges?
Yeah, thank you. I do think it would have helped prevent that. And, the way I see it is that if you have a real-time, precise risk engine that knows the exact amount of collateral that a user has and can act promptly, I think it's often viewed as being punitive to the user. I don't think that's how it is. I think what it means is that you don't have to preemptively liquidate them out of fear of where markets will move. And it means that you don't have to ask for as much collateral at the beginning, or if you do ask for the same amount of collateral, that they have a much bigger buffer before their position would be in danger of liquidation, given the promptness with which it can act. And it means that you can operate a model without recourse so that people know that they can't lose more than they deposited to the platform, that they're not worried you're going to go after their bank account or their house. You can accomplish all of those things much more cleanly with a real-time risk model that can wait until a position is nearing being out of margin before closing it down while still preventing systemic risk and being non-recourse. I think those set of things would have helped substantially prevent what we saw with the LME nickel futures where, first of all, it was unclear where the collateral was, if it was even there. And then it took days for the exchange to figure out what had even happened, by which time nickel had kept moving. The position was billions of dollars underwater before there was any transparency to the system on what happened. And so I think all of these would likely have helped mitigate that.
Well, thank you. I've only got about 30 seconds left, and Mr. Edmonds, I have a very lengthy question for you, so I'm going to have to submit it for the record. There just simply isn't enough time to really cover what we need to cover here in talking about market structure and this proposal. So I'll, with 13 seconds left, Sam, you mentioned that you're not getting interested, in your words, into getting into the ag markets anytime soon. Can you explain that just a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm interested in the markets, but I think they need more analysis. I think, as other people have been pointing out, different market structure, different settlement, different timing. It just needs more thought.
Thank you.